Hey, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? NoZoupForYou here, and I am very excited right now because the new German battleship line is upon us. And why am I so excited about this? I mean, we get ships all the time. It seems like we're getting flooded with ships. Well, the main reason is I love secondaries. I've always thought that a strong secondary loadout on battleships is probably the most fun way to play them, at least in my opinion. Which is why I love the old German battleship line so much, and Grosser Kurfürst, and that's why I was so disappointed when the commander skills were reworked and they absolutely nerfed the secondaries to the German battleship line. It was devastating to me. I felt like it really lost its reason for playing these ships. Even ships that I once loved to play, like Pommern, just were a shell of what they used to be. Well, this new line is out, and I've got some really good news for you right now, especially those that are wondering if these battleships are worth playing. Yes, they are. And guess what? Secondaries are back. They are absolutely back, and I think many of you are going to be very surprised with these ships. I'm going to start talking about the Mackinson right now. That's the tier 6, and the reason I want to focus on this ship is with ranked battles, tier 6 is what you're primarily going to be starting off in. So you need to know if this is viable, but not only if it's viable, if it's a fun ship. I'm going to tell you straight up, right away, it is a fun ship. It is a strong ship in my opinion. I'm showing you my first round in this ship. Before I get down to the ship itself and talk about battleships as they are, and the German battleships for that matter, I'm just going to walk you through what I use on this ship as far as captain skills. And I'm running a 19-point captain commander on this ship. I start with Demolition Expert, and the reason for that is I want that extra chance of causing fires, because after that I take IFHE. And I know this is a build out that people have used before, but it's not really too common, especially after the rework. I like a IFHE on these battleships because the secondaries are accurate and they hit very hard. After that, obviously I take long range secondary battery shells because I want that extra range, adds 20% to the range, and after that, on the 4-point skills, I take manual secondary battery aiming because once again, I want that decrease in reload and I want that decrease in dispersion. Plus there's some additional benefits as well. Maximum secondary battery shell dispersion when fired at priority target is decreased by 50%. So there's a lot of cool reasons to use this, and you'll see in this video when you get up close and personal with other battleships. These secondaries can be absolutely devastating. They can still start a lot of fires with an IFHE on them. Rounding things off, I take Concealment Expert. I pass on Emergency Repair Expert. I know a lot of people want that extra heal, want that extra repair. I might take it, I don't know, just because you're limited on repairs in this ship. And I found out it does hurt, especially with submarines in the game. You can burn through these really fast, and that's something to think about. For now, I am taking Fire Prevention Expert just because if you're up close and personal, brawling, and you're in secondary range of other ships, there is the chance that you're going to be put on fire. But again, something to think about right now, and I might switch things up. Emergency Repair Expert gives you that one extra repair party consumable, and that is very important right now because these battleships are limited on them. You don't have unlimited repairs like most ships do. You have a set amount, and 4 might not be enough, especially with submarines in the game right now. Just keep that in mind. Mackinson itself, 52,000 hit points, artillery, main battery, 350mm guns that can really reach out and touch something. I mean, they can absolutely punish broadside ships. I mean, these are strong guns, very strong guns. I like them a lot. Maximum range, 16.6 kilometers. Secondaries. Your secondary reload time, 7.3 seconds. Maximum range on this ship for its secondaries are 8.5 kilometers, which at tier 6, that is very considerable. I mean, a lot of engagements are going to be inside 8.5 kilometers, especially with other battleships, especially with cruisers. And these guns do hurt, these secondaries. They hurt a lot. So keep that in mind. I mean, a secondary build out at this tier is not something most people would think you can do. But with the Mackinson, with this new battleship line, absolutely. Go for it. I mean, totally worth it. A defense on this ship, I find it to be mediocre at best. You're at 29 out of 100. Yeah, it's the AA on this ship. This is not an AA ship. Not that great. Maneuverability, top speed 29.4 knots. That's pretty good for a little mid-ish tier battleship. Definitely faster than its American counterpart. So these ships are pretty swift. And if you look at the turning circle radius, 780 meters, not that bad. So I think this is something people are going to enjoy as well. This is going to help in close quarters brawls, getting around enemy guns, getting behind the ship, and your concealment is going to be 11.5 kilometers on this. There is a lot to like about this battleship on paper. But really though, what good is paper? What good are stats on paper if the ship doesn't operate good in the actual game? Well, I can tell you right now, the ship works perfectly wonderful. In fact, it's a hell of a lot of fun. It's probably one of the most fun lines I've played in a very, very long time. And I'm tickled that I've got a secondary battleship again. Battleships with secondaries, as I said earlier in this video, absolutely fun. I think they're one of the high points of the game. I mean, I know a lot of players love brawling. And as I said, I feel that battleships have always been made to brawl. I feel that the armor on these ships is pretty decent. I feel like this ship in particular, the Mackinson, can hold its own in just about anything. Even when bottom tiered, you can still pull out good games in this ship. So I really think that a lot of players are gonna find these ships enjoyable, and I really can't think of many cons. I mean, I've gone over the pros. Yeah, the major pros, the secondary, this entire line. I mean, I was in a tier 10 match going up against the Schlieffen. The Schlieffen plan. There's some war history for you right there. But no, I was in Ohio, and I came across the Schlieffen at like 12 kilometers, and its secondaries just started raining down on me. And I was in a situation where all I could do was back up. And even at 12 kilometers, its secondaries were just pegging me and taking 600 hit points off with every one that landed. And it wasn't like, you know, Grosso Kurfürst or the other battleship lines where, you know, if you're at 12 kilometers, 1 out of 10 secondary rounds might actually hit you. No, this was accurate. These were pummeling me. And there was nothing I could do except back up. And I just kept putting on fire. I was continually on fire. There's nothing I could do. And it was miserable. So I think a lot of players are going to love playing these ships up through the line all the way to tier 10. And, you know, I put 12,000 doubloons down to try and get the Schlieffen, and I knew that probably wouldn't do it. I think the minimum you had to put down was like 20,000 doubloons, and I'm not about to do that for a tech tree ship. There's a point where I'm not willing to put that much down, and plus, you know, I had doubloons to spare, so I said why not, but I didn't get it, and I wish I did. But you know, I'm looking forward to going through the rest of this line and working my way up to it. I mean, these ships are just a blast. 12 kilometers and accurate, these secondaries, which is phenomenal, and you can see in this round right here. I mean, even in mid-tiers, these secondaries are accurate. They can be devastating. And, I mean, I think I landed 160, 170 this round. And I can't think of any other mid-tier game that I've played where I've landed that many secondary hits. I just haven't. And they're causing fire, too, even with IFHE on them. You know, I got a close quarters kill. I mean, just that poor destroyer was already low health, and I didn't even know it was there. My secondary just fired off and pegged it, which, you know, a lot of fun. Destroyers, you're gonna have to think twice before attacking these battleships. You really are. But again, you know, I've gone over the pros, but that con, definitely the downside to these ships is that repair module. That you are limited in them. And when these submarines start, you know, getting into the game, A smart submarine is probably going to target these battleships and force these battleships to burn their repair parties up. Because, you know, once you get that lock on a battleship, if they hit the repair, they can break the lock. But I don't know if these battleships, if you're playing these, if you're going to want to do that, because you're so limited on them. So the question is, do I want to risk multiple fires on my ship, or do I just want to take some torpedoes head on? So that's going to be the question. Or do I just maybe want to break it once at the last second and pray that he doesn't have more loaded and moves on, and do I try and get out of here? So you're definitely going to have to be careful in the way you employ these battleships and in the way you employ your repairs. I mean, no longer can you think about just willy-nilly putting out a fire if you've got 2 on your ship. You might even want to let 2 fires burn. I don't know. It's going to take playing these ships a lot more and thinking about the strategies playing these ships a lot more to determine whether or not that's the best thing to do. And as I stated earlier with the commander skills, I mean, you're really going to have to think about whether you want to take that emergency repair expert to get the extra heal and the extra repair party, or whether you want to take the fire prevention expert. Or another thing you could do, and you know, you've got some decisions to make here, and you can definitely switch things up. You can forego concealment expert, and that is a completely viable option as well. And the reason why is, if you're going to play this thing as a secondary build and you're going to push up, which you're going to want to, you're not gonna need concealment expert. I mean, that 10% difference right there is not going to be so much, especially the mid tiers, that it's going to make or break this ship. So another suggestion to help you out a little more would be to take emergency repair expert and to take fire prevention expert and just completely give up concealment expert. And yes, I know you might be in a situation where the range of your guns, you know, outstrips your concealment possibly, but yeah, I don't think it's worth it at this point. So I'm probably going to redo my commander to go with emergency repair expert and fire prevention expert, just because right now I feel with the way things are with submarines in the game that extra repair party is just going to be so much more invaluable than that 10% minus 10% concealment. That's just me though. And again, this is a 19-point captain. Not all of you are going to have those 19-point captains. So you really have to make some choices with these battleships and how you're going to use your commander skill points. And, you know, when you get that final 21-point captain, which I'm going to have that on a few. You know, I've got some 21-point German commanders that I just haven't placed yet. Obviously, I'm going to put one on Schlieffen when I get it. And that final 3 commander skill points is definitely going to go towards Adrenaline Rush, just to get that reload time on the secondaries down even more. But overall, I really think that a lot of players are going to love these battleships. I normally advise you not to use doubloons to get these early releases, especially tech tree stuff, but I'm throwing that out the window this time just because these ships are so fun. Just because I feel that, well, for me, they've reinvigorated my desire to play this game. Submarines did not do that. These German battleships have done that. These secondary build battleships have made me excited about this game again in a way that I haven't been in quite a while. So I'm really, really glad they did this tech tree split. I hated the fact that they nerfed the secondaries, but you know what? At this point, I'm willing to accept it because we've got this new line coming out that is a secondary battleship line. The secondaries on these things are awesome. They're just a lot of fun. And I really think a lot of you that miss secondary gunplay are going to love these ships just for that fact. And I think a lot of players that don't like German battleships or playing that way are going to find these ships to be a pain in the rear to deal with just because the secondaries are so potent. At range even, at maximum range, you're going to be landing shots on these things. Especially if you pluck IFHE on there. Cruisers, you got to be careful around these things because your armor is not quite as good as a battleship, and this IFHE is still going to peg you, and it's going to hurt. So these things are going to be a menace. For the players that know how to play them correctly, they're going to be a lot of fun, and I think many of you are going to like these. Yeah, I want to know your thoughts if you already have them. Are you enjoying them? Are you excited about them? Let me know in the comments section of this video. If you haven't done so already, make sure to like and subscribe. Turn on notifications so you get these ship reviews and everything else. Hope y'all are doing wonderful. I really do. Best of luck out there. Take care. Zoop out.